advancements of computers changed the landscape of filmmaking. One of these such advancements was the development of computer-generated images, which have since supplemented hand-drawn animation and stop-motion as the means of creating landscapes and fantastical characters. As the years have passed and technology improved, CGI can now create places and things that look almost real. Unfortunately, the advancements in CGI also means that films with older CGI look incredibly dated, which can be very difficult to ignore. Other times, corners were cut or not as much time and dedication was put into the CGI, resulting in ugly and off-putting creations from day one. Welcome to Popcorn Program, and here are the 10 fantasy movies with the worst CGI. Pop pop! In number 10, we have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone from 2001. On his 11th birthday, Harry Potter, played by Daniel Radcliffe, learns he is a wizard. "You're a wizard, Harry," when he receives an invitation to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Everyone treats him as a celebrity because when he was an infant, he somehow stopped the Dark Wizard Voldemort, portrayed by Ian Hart in this movie. As Harry begins to study magic, he befriends Ron Weasley, played by Rupert Grint, and Hermione Granger, portrayed by Emma Watson, and gets wrapped up in a mystery regarding a treasure hidden at Hogwarts. It's hard not to notice the flaws in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone CGI when re-watching the films. Some parts do hold up better than others, like the animated chess pieces look pretty good, but anytime a human flies on broomsticks they look like they're made out of clay. The worst example, however, has to be the troll, who looks like he was cut and pasted into the scene, especially when he's in the same shot as the kids. In number 9 we have Artemis Fowl from 2020. One day, Artemis Fowl Jr., played by Thaddeus Shaw, learns that his father, Artemis Fowl Sr., Colin Farrell, has been kidnapped, and the kidnappers demand that Artemis recover an artifact called the Oculus that his father allegedly stole. Accompanied by his butler and bodyguard, Demovui Butler, played by Nonzo Anozie, Artemis's journey to find the Oculus takes him on deep beneath the earth to a hidden world inhabited by mythical creatures. There he meets Mulch, played by Josh Gad, a large dwarf, and Holly Short, played by Lara McDonnell, an elf officer that Artemis attempts to hold for ransom. It's hard to believe that the effects of Artemis Fowl were done by Industrial Lights and Magic, the same company that worked on Star Wars, Jurassic Park and most of the Marvel movies. It varies wildly in quality throughout the film, with the worst parts coming in during the action sequences or when Mulch stretches his mouth impossibly large. Coupled with how the film toned down Artemis's villainous side, it's little wonder why this is considered one of Disney's worst movies. In number 8 we have Beowulf from 2007. When King Throgar, played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, and his people celebrate the opening of a new mead hall, they awaken the wrath of the monstrous Grendel, played by Crispin Glover, who slaughters many of them in his rage. To deal with the beast, Throgar calls for Beowulf, played by Ray Winston, a Geatish warrior who has built a reputation for himself as a monster slayer. Though Beowulf defeats Grendel, he is soon after confronted by Grendel's mother, played by Angelina Jolie, and a dark secret from Hrothgar's past. Beowulf falls into these same trappings as all of Robert Zemeckis' motion capture films, in that the models evoke a strange case of uncanny valley. Though the characters' faces and movements are lifelike, their bodies feel weightless and their skin looks like plastic unless covered in grime or caught in the right lighting. The worst in the animation comes during the action scenes where the blood looks like a thick jam. In number 7 we have the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2 from 2012. Bella, played by Kristen Stewart, awakens to her new life as a vampire with her husband, Edward, played by Mackenzie, and their half-vampire Renesmee. Edward's family helps the family recover so that Renesmee can grow up safely and Bella can get used to her new powers. However, another vampire discovers that Renesmee's existence and fearing the danger she could cause, alerts the vampire elite who will kill her unless Bella and Edward can prove she won't risk exposing vampire society. Renesmee is the main reason the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2 is ranked among the movies with the worst CGI in the 2010s. Her face is unsettling to look at, and during her infant stage it never quite matches her emotions, leading to one of the most famous examples of the uncanny valley. Amazingly, audiences could have experienced something even worse as the original plan was to use a puppet, but they switched to CGI because its face was even more disturbing. In number 6 we have the Nutcracker in 3D. During 1920, Albert Einstein, played by Nathan Lane, visits his niece and nephew, Mary, played by Elle Fanning, and Max, played by Aaron Michael Drosin, and gifts them with a dollhouse and a nutcracker. That night, the Nutcracker, called NC, played by Shirley Henderson and Charlie Rowe, comes to life, and Mary learns that he used to be a human until his kingdom was taken over by the Rat King, played by John Turturro. To defeat him, they need to destroy the Rat King's factory, which burns children toys to block the sky with smog. Andrei Konchalovsky has said the Nutcracker in 3D was his passion project for over 20 years, but the result is a confusing mess of a family film. The Nutcracker has never looked creepier, with his lifeless eyes against an expressionless face. Then there is the Rat King, whose face contorts into a horrifically cheap CGI's rat mouth whenever he screams. In number 5 we have Fire and Ice, the Dragon Chronicles from 2008. When an angry fire dragon attacks the kingdom of Carpia, the people send for a legendary dragon hunter to slay it. Unfortunately, he is dead, and his son Gabriel, played by Tom Wisdom, is untested. Still, he and his friend Sam Gamel, played by John Rhys-Davies, are contracted to kill the beast, which unravels a hidden conspiracy and unleashes a mighty ice dragon. Fire and Ice, the Dragon Chronicles is let down by its poor budget, which is especially notable in the dragons. Manta rays are admittedly a creative choice for dragon designs, but the idea is let down by how poorly rendered the models are. Nothing about their movements feels real, and their poor textures kill any hope of believing they are in the same world as the humans. In number 4 we have The Mummy Returns from 2001. Imhotep, played by Arnold Vosloo, is resurrected by a cult bent on defeating the Scorpion King, played by Dwayne Johnson, and claiming dominion over his army from the underworld. To do this, they require a golden bracelet which can lead them to the Scorpion King's domain. Currently in the possession of his enemies, Rick, played by Brendan Fraser, and Evelyn O'Connell, played by Rachel Weisz. When their son Alex, played by Freddie Both, puts on the bracelet, the cult kidnaps him, and the O'Connells pursue him with the help of Evelyn's brother Jonathan, played by John Hannah, and Ardeth Bray, played by Obed Fair, who helped the O'Connells defeat Imhotep before. Some of the effects on Imhotep's mummy form or the jackal-headed army of the underworld look wonky, but were passable we could live with. What we could handle, however, what made the CGI Mummy Returns so infamous, is the Scorpion King himself. He is now a gigantic mixture of man and scorpion with Dwayne Johnson's, air quotes, face, yet his features are unnaturally smooth. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring hadn't come out the same year, but it's hard not to look at the Scorpion King and wonder if you're watching a PS2 cutscene, and a badly rendered one at that. In number 3, we have Cats from 2019. Victoria, played by Francesca Hayward, is a young cat living in London whose life changes forever when she is abandoned by her owner. She meets a group of alley cats called the Jellicles who take her in on the eve of the Jellicles Ball, where the cats compete to impress their leader, Old Deuteronomy, played by Dame Judi Dench. The lucky winner is sent to the Heaviside Layer and given the chance at a new life. Much sympathy must be given to the animators of Cats, since they were working under strict deadlines and were forced to rush out an unfinished project. Still, the end result is horrifying, as the human faces in the actors clash with the CGI fur covering their bodies, not to mention the ears and tails don't always move as you'd expect them to. Universal tried re-releasing the film with slight fixes to the CGI, but it did little to make the characters anything less than uncomfortable to look at. In number 2 we have Dungeons and Dragons from the year 2000. The Kingdom of Izmir is thrown into turmoil when Empress Savina, played by Thora Birch, attempts to give more rights to the non-magical community. Though she is able to maintain order thanks to her scepter, which can control gold dragons, the evil maid Prothean, played by Jeremy Irons, seeks to oppose her by finding the Rod of Savril, which can control red dragons. However, the rod's location falls into the hands of two thieves named Ridley, played by Justin Wallen, and Snails, played by Marlon Wayans, a mage named Maria, played by Zoe McKellen, and a dwarf named Elwood, played by Lee Arenberg, who set off to try and recover it before Prothean can use it to declare war. The CGI is only the first of a long list of problems with this film. Though given how important magic is to the film, it's among the most glaring. Spells and other magical effects never look like they are actually interacting with people, and the green screen effects create a strange depth of field experience that makes the actors stand out as if on another layer. Then there are the dragons, which look and move with the stiffness of a low quality toy. Here number 1, we have The Son of the Mask from the year 2000. When aspiring cartoonist Tim Avery, played by Jamie Kennedy, puts on a green mask that his dog Otis, played by Bill Farmer and Richard Stephen Horvitz, found at a Halloween party, he is transformed into a living cartoon character who can alter reality. He ends up fathering a son named Elvie while wearing the mask, causing Alvi to inherit his powers. Meanwhile, the Norse god of mischief Loki, played by Alan Cumming, is looking for the mask on orders from his estranged father Odin, played by Bob Hoskins. Son of the Mask is undeniably one of the worst movies of the 2000s due to the convoluted plot, lack of Jim Carrey, and for how terrifying the CGI is. The filmmakers wanted to capture the wacky and exaggerated gags of Tex Avery. But what is funny on a 2D character is downright horrific when translated to 3D and placed on top of a baby. Things get even worse when Otis briefly dons the mask and tries to kill Alvi, resulting in an unfunny slapstick with a dog whose mouth is uncomfortably too large for his head. And there you have it there, so what do you think? What's the worst piece of CGI you've ever seen? Let us know in the comments down below. If you're new around here, be sure to click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Pop pop!